Hello and welcome to another edition of Humble Theology. My name is John, and in this series I want to talk about a little bit the doctrine of assurance. Simply put, that's just really believing and knowing that you're saved. Having that sort of confidence that if someone were to ask you, are you going to heaven? You'd say, well, yes, of course I am. And the confidence and the assurance that follows that. So as we look at that, you may say, well, I don't struggle with assurance. I don't have any kind of problem there. I am certain that I'm going to heaven. That's great. That's fine. That's wonderful. But if you have a family, if you teach Sunday school, if you minister in some degree to other people, or other people just know you're a Christian, eventually you're going to run into someone who says, boy, I'm struggling with my assurance. How do I know that I know I'm going to heaven? Maybe something tragic has happened in their life. Maybe they've fallen into some kind of sin, and they're really starting to have doubts about whether or not they're saved. So the doctrine of assurance is very important from that aspect. How do you know that you're going to heaven? And I plan in a lot of short videos to try to talk about this. In this video, I want to address the general concerns. So usually someone comes up or is talking and says, I have doubts about being saved. And the typical response to that is other fellow believing Christians will say, well, there's proof right there that you're saved, because a non-Christian does not have that concern. So if you're having struggles and doubts with whether or not you're saved, that is in a sense a Christian mindset. We, in a sense, in whatever's going on in your mind, and we'll talk about a variety of topics related to this going forward. But whatever's going on in that person's mind that they have doubts, they're at least worried about heaven, and that's where their heart is leading them. You could say that grain of a mustard seed of faith is spurring them on to head in a heavenward direction, to be concerned about their salvation, and that's a good thing. But I want to build on that. So just having a doubt, you could say, well, there's some assurance for you right there. But we can take that a step further. When we look in Luke 18, Jesus is telling a parable about a tax collector and a Pharisee both going to pray, and the publican, the tax collector, all he can do is beat his chest and say, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Clearly this person is struggling to feel like they have any sense of worth, that God would be smiling in their direction. But yet, see where his heart led him. It led him to pray. It led him to God. The sinner runs from God. The sinner walks away from God, or has an apathy and has no care for God. But a believer seeks God even in the humility, sometimes crushing humility of looking at themselves, looking at their sin, things like that. Paul, oh, wretched man that I am. Or that he can call himself later, I'm the chief of sinners when I look at my life. These people still, like this tax collector, looks to God and says, please have mercy. That's your faith. That's that grain of mustard seed, that you don't have anything else to look at, but you still, by the inner working of the Spirit in your heart and mind, it drives you to that despair call of Daddy, Father. You go to God. You may be crying, weeping, sorrowful. And that's a lot of times the estate of people who have a lack of assurance. They're not sure about their salvation. They're crying. Yet they're crying out to God. And that should be hopefully a little piece of assurance there. So again, this is just one piece of this topic. I want to try to keep these videos shorter than I have been in the past. But we'll look at more on the doctrine of assurance going forward. So I hope that helps. Leave some comments, questions below, and we'll keep fleshing this out. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Take care.